many people my age across the world, I struggle with mental health issues. Anxiety, depressive episodes, you name it. If you were to ask my friends to describe me, the first thing they would say is that I am overly energetic and always happy. That, however, is simply not true. Every day, it feels like a million new things are thrown at me, daring me to break down, fall apart, and not even try to pick up the pieces. Especially in school, I'm constantly anxious. Picture this. You're sitting in math class, copying equations from the whiteboard. Suddenly, an equation comes up on the board that you don't know how to solve. You raise your hand and ask the teacher for help, but when she tries to help you, you're just confused further. Everyone around you seems to understand it without a problem, but you just can't seem to wrap your mind around the concept. At that moment, your heart starts racing and your chest tightens. Your brain is whirring at 1,000,000 miles an hour with a different thought flying around every half a second. Why don't I get this? I must be the only one. Am I stupid for not understanding this? Your palms clench, you start quietly hyperventilating, and you can't focus on anything, let alone the math that you're desperately trying to comprehend. That scenario is not just something I made up. It's my reality just about weekly in pretty much all of my classes. I've been having these episodes for a while now, and by now you would have thought I could manage them better. Well, on the contrary, I actually know how to manage my anxiety quite well. When I'm at home, alone in my room, and I feel an anxiety attack coming on, I sit back and let myself ride the roller coaster that is my emotions. If I don't allow myself to feel and express what's happening inside my head, my anxiety becomes bottled up, and most often, just like when a soda can is shaken, it explodes. If I merely take the time to let out my feelings, I almost have a sense of closure with the emotion, and the next time it happens, I am more prepared to handle it. However, that is simply impossible in the real world. If my math class scenario were to happen, all I would need is to walk outside the classroom and sit by myself until the episode subsided. Then, the next time it happened, and all the instances after that, I would slowly be able to calm myself down in a shorter amount of time, and eventually, my anxiety would cease to impede my learning. That sounds reasonable, right? However, mental health is not a priority in the slightest when it comes to school, let alone in life. I believe we've all heard the phrase, time is money, correct? From a young age, we're trained to believe that every second wasted is a second of your life that you will never get back. Mental health is no exception. Oftentimes, people just need time to feel their sadness during a depressive episode, time to breathe after a panic attack, time to calm down after a period of mania. Whatever the reason, time is more often than not a solution. However, when you are conditioned to use up every second of every day to the fullest, there is no room for mental health days. When a student needs to take a break during a period of anxiety, they are labeled as lazy and uninterested in the class, giving them a bad reputation among teachers and an unfair disadvantage. When they don't come to school due to taking a mental health day, they're scorned as someone who is listless and unbothered. However, this way of thinking is not solely applicable to mental health. When a businessman waits for a group of people to gather for a meeting, he might exclaim, "Time is money, people," as a way to express his impatience at the people he's supposed to be meeting with. When a student comes home from school and wants to take a nap just because they're exhausted, their parents might scream at them how time is money and they need to be practicing their sport or doing their homework, even though they just need a short break after an entire day of stress on their brain. While these may seem true, they're simply superficial examples that fail to prove how time is actually money. However, one could claim that time is health. Our simple human processes rely not on the speed with which they are achieved, but what we encounter when we experience them. If time were, in fact, money, fundamental things like building a friendship, being a good person, or falling in love would cease to carry weight and meaning. When concerning mental health, the same principle applies. The hypermedicalization of teens in the United States is becoming an increasingly serious problem due to the fact that the American medical system has been following the time is money standard. According to the CDC, ever having been diagnosed with anxiety or depression in children ages 6 to 17 increased from 5.4% in 2003 to 8.4% in 2012, and it's still increasing. That's 1 in 12 children. Additionally, as the children grew older, the diagnosis and treatment rate dropped. Teens became more subjected to the time is money standard, and as a result did not receive crucial treatment that they would have severely benefited from. Therefore, as a society, we need to block the phrase time is money from our minds. Instead, we must individualize the norms to every teen that needs help, instead of trying to hold them to a standard that will take time and effort for them to be able to reach. Just as a caterpillar needs time to transform into a butterfly, so too do people experiencing mental health problems need time. Once that time is given to them, will they then be able to flourish, just like a monarch escaping its cocoon and flying away as it was always meant to do. Thank you.